Oh, the Pooh Show. Ben approved. The Pooh Show coming back. Just like the Packers are
Yeah, I don't
back.
care.
You know what? Here, right away. Guess what?
What?
We used to. So why do we use StreamYard? We use StreamYard so we could stream to multiple platforms at the same time, simultaneously, right? That was one of the reasons we got StreamYard.
Yeah.
And I paid for it. And now X, you have to have premium X to stream to X live. So it's blocking your stream. You can't actually stream through anymore unless you get premium X. And Meta and Facebook has said, oh no, we have different requirements in order for you to do a live stream from any alternative source through us. So you also, Facebook gives you an X when you try to stream as well. So you know what I say to that? Screw you, Zuckerberg. Screw you, Musk. We don't need you. We'll go YouTube only from now on.
I think that's the only way people usually got a hold of us anyways. There's a couple people on Facebook, but not many.
Messerschmitt had to cry about JJ McCarthy. You know, he's crying in his beard.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would have made much of a difference for the Vikings.
Well, I mean, they're going to have a rough season anyway, but at least they'd have some excitement and some hope for the future.
They got all the excitement. They took all of our excitement. They got 33. Yeah, they got 33.
Right. And when Sam Darnold is the quarterback, there's going to be like 10 guys in the box for poor Aaron Jones to try to get around.
Then that'll help Justin Jefferson then, I guess.
We'll see how it goes.
Anyway. TJ Pukinson, he'll catch a couple passes here and there.
X, suck it. Meta and Facebook, suck it. All right, here we go.
All right. Bad.
How you doing, bro? Home alone tonight. You're Macaulay Culkin tonight.
Yep, it's great.
Great. Is it? Did you take a nap today?
No.
No nap.
I went to bed at 7:30 p.m. yesterday, and I didn't get out of bed until 10 a.m. Now,
wow,
I wasn't sleeping that whole time, but I wished I was. So, yeah. But then I just got some stuff done today. I don't have to work. Called Dad. There he is. Wild man dude.
Called him up?
Yep. And then did some other crap after that, and then ate something, and then now here we go.
Here we go. We got Packers to talk about. We got what everybody loves to talk about, the number one wide receiver, and Matt LaFleur's reaction. And Matt LaFleur has done this now, Ben, the last few years, right? He gets pissy. Little Cheerios here. Yo, how's it going? We're talking about Packers, and we're talking about our Packer coach who says, you asked me questions like that and make me want to vomit. You make me want to vomit when I hear that. You don't have a number one wide receiver. Blah, 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 blah. Let's talk about number one wide receiver, Ben. What does it mean? What does it mean?
Well, it means that you have a really high, overpriced guy who can be taken away by the opposing defense by just putting two guys on him and therefore making him completely useless. That's what it means. Because that's what happened to the Packers in the playoffs. Matter of fact, go back to the last Aaron Rodgers playoff game when the Packers played the 49ers and just watch how Aaron Rodgers just looked at Devontae Adams the entire game, and the 49ers covered him with just two guys and took him out of the game, and Rodgers didn't know what to do. Even though he had guys wide open all over the field, he would just look at Devontae Adams constantly, and he'd be covered. And then nothing happened. And we scored no points. And we lost because we had a block punt that was returned for a touchdown. And that's the only reason why we lost that game. Also because Aaron Rodgers sucks. And Devontae Adams is fine, but he sure as heck ain't like game-breaking or anything like that. A number one receiver does nothing for you but make you draft number one the next year. And you just look at the Chiefs if you want a reason why.
I love it. I don't know how this happened. I don't know. I mean, I remember we were growing up, you saw like good combinations of wide receivers, right? You saw like good combinations of running backs and tight ends and like everybody involved in a team. That's what made good offenses go. And then I don't know how this happened. I don't know when it happened. But then was it like Randy Moss pushed it forward? Was it Was it before that? I don't know. But anyway, the point is now we've gotten into this
Jerry
whole
Rice.
thing.
I think it was Jerry Rice.
Yeah, but Jerry Rice still had John Taylor and other guys that were in
Yeah.
there, of course, until he had JJ Stokes, who was kind of a scrub and all that. But I get it. But the thing is, you're exactly right. Like, you have to put a bunch of money into them, number one, which takes away from money you can give to other players and make your team better. Number two, like, it's easy to take away. I mean, how many times did Bill Belichick go up to guys before the game who's the number one receiver on the other team, like, you might as well just not play today. We're taking you out of the game. We're doubling you all game long. Sorry, Ocho Stinko and whoever else you got. That's what we're going to do. So easy to do. And if you have a system where you have all these plays designed to go to that player first, and you keep trying to force feed him, and you don't have a quarterback who's willing to just throw to the open guy, it's a disaster. We witnessed it time and time again as Packers fans over the years. So we don't need one.
The other thing I think is really interesting. I mean, a number one receiver, whatever, can be a good thing. It's not like terrible. It's just
right.
Is it somebody, okay, he's a dominant type guy who can get open most of the time against man-to-man coverage. So if there's a play where you're getting blitzed and if I'm going to trust somebody, I'm going to trust this guy to get open on his route, and I'm going to throw it over there because you're getting like a quick blitz in your face or whatever the case is. That's a positive thing. A lot of times when those guys, we do have a number one receiver, it does take the defense's attention away, and you have other guys who can be open there. So that's a good thing too. So that's also part of what a number one receiver can be. But I think the interesting thing is this. I think it goes back to Jerry Rice, Michael Irvin, that time period. But also what was going on during that time period was the running back was very important. The running game was very important. The defense was consistent of the inside linebackers were 235 to 250 pounds. They were designed specifically to stop the run first and not worry about the pass as much. There was more of an emphasis on one-to-one coverage with the cornerbacks with a little bit of help from the safeties. And the linebackers didn't even worry about, for the most part, receivers, right? And they worried mostly about the running game because the running game was king. And it wasn't until, right around 2000 or so, or a little bit after that, where a lot of rules changed. All of a sudden, you can't touch anybody. You can't touch the quarterback at all. You breathe on them, it's a penalty. You can't touch the receivers anymore. And when that happened, that forced defenses to change. They switched to more of a zone defense. They went to faster linebackers. They went to more of a defense where you sit back, react, and then attack. So your eyes are on the quarterback at all times instead of constantly, and even the guys covering the wide receivers, right? Even a corner knows he's got safety help, and his eyes are on the quarterback, not necessarily on the receiver, because he knows, okay, I got inside. If he goes to the outside deep, then my safety is going to help me, or I got the outside and he comes to the inside on a slant, my safety is going to help me, whatever the case might be, or a linebacker's there if it's quick slant, whatever it is. There's less of a need for a number one receiver because the defenses know how to take it away, number one, and number two, they are more trying to stop the pass. And they don't worry about the run. They're like, you want to run for 2 yards? Fine, go ahead. We're going to sit here and watch you and then run up and tackle you. And if our guys suck at tackling, then maybe your running back will get a couple yards. But I mean, we haven't had a superstar running back, right? Really, since Adrian Peterson. I mean, Derrick Henry maybe, but I don't think Derrick Henry was all that great. If you get him moving laterally, he's easy to break down.
Yeah, true.
So, and just take a look at the last, I don't know how many teams that have won the Super Bowl. Can you name a dominant receiver that was on their team that was a number one receiver? I mean, Cooper Kupp, is he a number one receiver for the Rams? He's a number one receiver on their team. But if you put him, I mean, I don't know. He's just a slot guy, right?
Right.
And they barely squeaked out that one. Tom Brady, all those Super Bowls he won, he never had a number one receiver. The one time he did with Randy Moss, they didn't win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes has won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. So I just think it's more dangerous for a defense to not know where the ball is going, to have to cover everything. And now it puts more of an emphasis on the quarterback and on the play calling to be good, right? Because that's one thing about having a number one receiver is, yes, there are plays where if that guy wins, we're good. Like when we had Jordy Nelson, he was close to a number one receiver, but I don't think anybody ever said he was a number one receiver. But him and Rodgers had a connection where they do some back shoulder throws, some real throws to the outside, stuff like that, double moves. Greg Jennings was really, really good. I don't know if he was a number one receiver.
Interesting. You're bringing that up. You're leading me right into it. So I might as well.
But you can go all the way back to Brett Favre.
Yeah.
He's throwing to Anthony Morgan and Terry Mickens and Stonehands Freeman and, Robert Brooks. And none of those guys were number one receivers. Yes, he had Sterling Sharp. We didn't win when he had Sterling Sharp. Sterling Sharp had to get hurt for Favre to finally find everybody else and throw to Stonehands and Brooks and, Mark Shimura and whoever else, all these other different guys who were just part of the team. And he would just throw, if he had a green jersey on, he's chucking it at you, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it good. We haven't had the 2 years we won Super Bowls. We had to pick up Andre Rison off the street for the one. And the other one, Double D got hurt in no time. Jordy Nelson dropped 75 passes. James Jones dropped passes. Greg Jennings was a number one receiver in that game. Like, he had a lot of awesome catches in that game.
Yeah.
But still, we needed Jordy to catch a couple, and he did. He had 100-some yards in that game. He would have had way more if he would have caught everything, but he didn't. But still, it's like the Steelers had to look out for everybody. They couldn't just worry about, one guy.
That was the thing. So peak of the McCarthy offense with Rodgers and with a group of pass catchers where the ball was distributed before Rodgers honed in on, this has got to be my guy. I'm going to have a number one guy, go-to guy, all that sort of stuff. Right. And yeah, sort of with Jordy, but this is 2011. All right. 2011 was the peak, right? Rodgers' first MVP season, amazing season. Packers went 15-1, lost in the playoffs because of the fact that, they played on a slow track in Lambeau Field in the cold, and they were a passing offense in a non-passing environment, and they didn't have good pass blockers, and the Giants had a good pass rush. But point is here, if you look at this stuff, this is the receiving stats here now. Now, Jordy Nelson, yes, he had 68 catches. Greg Jennings had 67 catches that year. Jermichael Finley had 55 catches that year. James Jones had 38. Donald Driver had 37. And you look at targets, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys with more than 50 targets. Top guy was Jennings with 101. Okay. Nelson 96, Finley 92. And there's a 540 attempts that season, but Driver had 56. James Jones had 55. Spreading the ball around. And what the Packers did back then, and I remember them talking about it, right, is basically said, we have all of these guys who are good. We don't have an identified dominant Randy Moss kind of guy or whoever, or even Sterling Sharp kind of guy. Of all these guys that are good. And when we're going to put a bunch of them on the field at the same time. And we're going to find a matchup, right? Who are you going to put where? Where are your weakest defenders? Because we think even if you try to load up against our better guys or higher targeted guys like that season, Nelson and Jennings and stuff, we're going to think that James Jones is better than your third or fourth cornerback, right? Or Donald Driver can beat your fourth best cornerback on your team. And that's what they did. And it worked great. And that's what this young Packers team was doing last year. And they did it in the preseason game, right? Dontavian Wicks on third down gets one-on-one against a safety. And Jordan Love pointed out right away, is like, I know Dontavian Wicks can beat that safety. So here you go. And it's a touchdown. Like, don't you want to see that as a Packers fan? Doesn't that make it more simpler on offense and easier to be successful and more challenging for the defense? It's good across the board. I can't hear you. I don't know what happened. Where'd you go?
I muted myself. Anyways,
okay.
Another thing it's good for is for the salary cap. If Jordan Love is spreading the ball around to everybody, and instead of one guy getting 150 targets, a la Devontae Adams, and then the next guy getting 50, Aaron Jones, which was one of the last years Devontae had with Aaron Rodgers, you would have a bunch of guys getting 70 targets, 60 targets, right? And their catches are maybe 49 to 55 catches in the year for 700 yards, and each of them gets 6 to 8 touchdowns. None of them are going to be banking in on the freaking $30 million a year like these whiny receivers want, like Brandon Ayuk, for instance, who is not that good, but he had one sort of good year, and he was a second-team All-Pro, and now he thinks he deserves $30 million a year. And that's insane. But if we have a bunch of guys who are all really good, we might be able to pay some of them, at a lower level, right? Because they're based on their stats, and get them for $15 million a year. And you can have 2 really good players instead of just one guy. And if he gets hurt, you're screwed. So it helps the team. It helps the offense. It helps the salary cap. You're muted.
I realize that. Here, what I pulled up is last season's receiving statistics here, right? So you got targets. You got Jaden Reed with 94, Christian Watson 53. You got Dontavian Wicks 58, Romeo Doubs 96, Musgrave 46, Tucker Kraft 40. So 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. Aaron Jones with 43. 7 guys with 40 or more targets. And it worked great. Like, who are you going to try to load up on as a defense? You got to pretty much play it straight because you really do not know where the ball is going to go. And if you choose to double team Christian Watson because he's fast, okay. And we'll go to Dontavian Wicks over here. We'll go to Romeo Doubs over here. We'll throw to Jaden Reed or Luke Musgrave or Tucker Kraft or whatever. Like, that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. So I don't know why, like, I get why Matt LaFleur said it makes him sick or it makes him want to vomit when he hears the question. But, and the other, okay. But at the same time, here's the thing. Matt LaFleur said, that's something you guys, he gets a little feisty, right? And he does this stuff when he doesn't like answering the same question or whatever. He's like, that's something you guys talk about. Well, I'm calling BS on that. I'm calling BS on that. Because how many former players are in the media right now and they talk nonstop about the number one wide receiver, number one wide receiver, number one wide receiver. You hear it all the damn time from all these former players. So don't give me that. You guys talk about it. Players talk about it.
You can go right back to Matt LaFleur when he had Devontae Adams. Oh. That's all he would say in press conferences. Well, I mean, when you got a guy like Devontae Adams, we got to get him the ball. We got to target. Because people are asking, why is Devontae Adams getting 15 targets and you're losing? And he's like, well, I mean, you got a guy like that. You got to make sure he gets the ball. You got to make sure he gets the ball. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because he's not a guy who makes plays after he catches it. If you had a number one receiver who was a playmaker,
sure,
then you get him the ball 100 million times. But if he's a guy who just catches it and then goes down, I mean, that's not worth it. That's not a number one receiver, which is why I've always said Devontae Adams is not a number one receiver.
Right.
He's a very good receiver, but Greg Jennings was more of a number one receiver than him because he could make things happen.
Yeah.
Jordy Nelson could take it to the house. He could actually have a 50-yard touchdown. Mm-hmm. He had many of them, which we talked about on this show a couple years back, where we went over all the Aaron Rodgers stats from before Jordy Nelson to after Jordy Nelson.
Or before Devontae Adams.
No.
Oh,
before Jordy got hurt.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. The way Rodgers changed his play. Right. Yep. Now, obviously, he didn't have Jordy, but also it was just his stats were before Jordy got hurt. It was like bombs away. Super awesome. Like James Jones, whole bunch of long touchdowns. Jordy Nelson, a whole bunch of long touchdowns. Even Driver, Jennings, for sure. All those guys, long touchdowns. Jermichael Finley, long touchdowns. A bunch of touchdowns over 40 yards. But then after Jordy got hurt and all you had was MVS was the only guy who had touchdowns that were over 40 yards. MVS had 4 of them, and those were the only 4 Rodgers had.
Yeah.
And that's until we got Christian Watson. Because then Christian Watson had like 3 or 4 that next year. Now, part of that is we didn't have any speed receivers, but it just shows you that Devontae Adams was not a number one receiver, but we treated him like one, and therefore we lost games in the playoffs because of it. So, but Matt LaFleur said it back then. So for him to say that the reporters are breaking this up, he brought it up back then. Now, he only brought it up probably because he wanted to make Davante Adams happy, because he kept saying, oh, Davante Adams, well, we got a guy like that. Well, then who? And that's the other part. The problem of this is when you say a guy's the number one receiver, then he thinks he should be paid as the number one receiver in the league, which is what the Packers have to constantly do with all these guys, and they're making way more money than they should. But right now, we have a bunch of young guys who are good and hungry. And if you ask me, I'll take 4 young guys that are good and hungry. Actually, I'll say we got 7 young guys who are good and hungry. I'll take all 7 of those guys, and that doesn't include Toure, because he's not even one of the 7 I'm thinking of. The other guys, they're all hungry. They all want the ball. Now, Bo Melton, yikes, bad game.
Damn it, Bo.
But
he blocked so good. He blocked good in that game.
Well, you know what? Malik Heath can block just as good. The bottom line is he won't see the field much anyways if those other 4 guys stay healthy, because those are the 4 guys that we want on the field because they're the best 4. But
what about Grant DuBose now?
Grant DuBose, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
All right.
I don't know. He's okay. It's a preseason game. He's not like, he doesn't really doing anything after he catches the ball. I don't know. Everybody's having this big like, oh, Grant DuBose. It's like, okay.
Yeah, he made some good plays though. I'll give him that.
All right, he's fine. He's fine. He's better than Samori Toure. Yippee. That's like saying, you know, that's like saying Emmanuel Wilson is better than AJ Dillon. Like, we know that already.
Yeah, Lee points it out. Lee's in the house. Mark's here. They like spreading the ball around. 7 hungry guys better than 1 well-fed stud. And it does keep you out of that. And I'll say this too. If you watch receiver as an aside, because we do plenty of asides here. If you watch that receiver show, Davante Adams was certainly not a number 1 leader for like the first half of that previous season. He was kind of a whiny pain in the ass. And I get Jimmy Garoppolo sucks and it's frustrating, but come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like be a better teammate than that. Of course, he did turn it around, but whatever.
The other thing is, like, when you watch that receiver show, Deebo Samuel was hurt like most of the time. So like if you pay a guy a crap ton of money, he's your number 1 receiver and he's hurt all the time. And because you gave all that money, all you got left is Joe Schmo and Uncle Jack playing wide receiver for you. You suck. And the way we have it now, we got a bunch of good players. If like last year, Christian Watson goes down, okay, Devontae, or Dontavion Wicks, boom, you're the man. Romeo gets hurt. Oh, Malik Heath, we need you to play a couple games.
Ooh,
he's out there catching touchdowns. Like, let's go. It's the beautiful thing about it is Goody finally did something right. He drafted a bunch of receivers, and they all happen to be good. If only he could do that with cornerbacks, then we'd be in real good shape.
I love about Malik Heath too. He does not give a crap who you are. He's gonna battle you and compete every single time he gets a chance to be on the field, and it's awesome.
Love so I think that's enough wide receiver talk. But yeah. Matt LaFleur is whiny, but he's right. But he's also not right because he's one of the guys who talked about getting the number 1 receiver the ball a bunch back when we had Devontae. So he should really shut up and not say that the reporters made this crap up. Because if they listened to him 3-4 years ago when he was talking about Davante Adams as the number 1 receiver, getting in the ball, got to give him 15 targets, blah, blah, blah. He said the same crap. So he can't be mad at reporters for saying it now. So shut up.
It's hilarious. And I love it every time someone points out, the Packers roster of their top like 4 or 6 receivers, how much money they have in those guys versus other teams like one guy.
I know, it's funny.
It's insane, but it like do it as long as you can do it. And yeah, at some point down the road, you're going to lose some of these guys. It's going to come to a head. Who knows? Maybe you got all the right kind of guys and they start winning and they care more about winning than they do money. But I don't know. Maybe not. I'm sure some of them will want some money, but you take this for as long as you can get it. Cheap, talented, hungry players. Let's go. All right. From the game, preseason game, there's some things that happened. We saw some guys, but we saw way too much of Royce. I just got to say it. But
let's not talk about that yet.
Maybe that's why Royce is on the team, so he can help him get through these preseason games before they cut him, right? Because he plays all of these different positions.
I don't know. Let's not talk about that yet.
We don't want to talk about it yet? Oh,
no.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know. Let's just show a video.
Oh, let's get some video going. Who's this video of?
Well, it's about time. It's about one of our favorite guys who we always talk about every single year, yet never gets any credit.
Last
So
year
I'm
he
gonna
got some playing time though, right?
He did, and when he did, we talked about it last week or last time we were on when I showed people getting paid for how much they got made, or how much they make, and he had constant $12 to $13 million games when he was starting, and then games he wasn't starting, he wasn't doing much. So let me know when you got me up, bro.
You're up.
Well, anybody who's watched Andy Herman this week or knows about PFF grades, one of the highest rated Packers on defense in this game was Isaiah McDuffie.
McDuffie.
And you might say, and another story all through camp and all through offseason was even though the Packers drafted Cooper and Hopper, McDuffie was getting the start next to Quay Walker. And people were like, well, what the crap? I thought we drafted a second-round pick and a third-round pick. Why are they not getting the start? We got the haze going on here. And now both those guys are actually hurt, so it doesn't matter. But the reason why is because McDuffie was proving last year when he was in the games that he actually is really good. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the biggest guy. But he's smart, and he is able to do certain things. So I'm going to show you 3 plays, and these 3 plays were in a row on the first Browns drive. And you're going to watch McDuffie right here, 58, in the middle of the screen, just above the quarterback here. On this play, you should watch Quay Walker as well. This just shows the awareness and the ability to understand what's going on around them. Actually, you know what? I forgot I want to make this half speed, so give me a second. I want to slow it down because it's always easier to track it when it's half speed because sometimes it doesn't want to do the thing for you. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so as you see in here, there's going to be a fake handoff to the running back, and the quarterback is going to want to throw a pass over here to the slot receiver. And as you're noticing, whoever this is, I don't know who the
Rashawn Gary.
Is that Rashawn Gary? Okay, well,
Yeah.
he is completely not aware of anything. He's going straight following this because he thinks it's a run because it looks like a run based on what the offensive linemen are doing. Like when the right tackle just starts running this way, he thinks it's a run.
I'm assuming he has outside contain there because if you look at the opposite D end, he is playing that like it's outside contain.
Yeah.
So Rashawn Gary,
Well,
like, come on, man.
Yeah, but his guy is running away from him. So I mean, what is
I know, but the running back could cut back that way, and then there's no outside contain.
That's true. But let's see. Let's take a look at what happens here.
If I know anything about football, it's outside contain. Okay, now he is kind of closing down the lane.
Okay, so now he's looking back. He's got his eyes in the backfield, right?
Yep.
We got Quay Walker, eyes in the backfield. McDuffie, eyes in the backfield. Kenny Clark, eyes on the backfield. They all know that the running back doesn't have the ball, which means they're watching the ball, which is great. Like all these, this is another thing that I like about this. Guys are paying attention. Now, of course, Gary wants the sack, so he goes straight to the quarterback.
Dang it.
But look, Isaiah McDuffie, Quay Walker, both beeline to this receiver on the outside. And there's only one blocker. So let's say McDuffie wasn't paying attention. And his assignment, of course, was to cover the running back, which it probably was.
Yep.
But he saw that the running back didn't have the ball. And he saw, based on the quarterback's stance, that he was probably throwing the ball back across his body. So he said, screw it, I'm going for it. And as the play progresses, you're going to see.
Who's that guy? Who's that corner? Is that Keyshawn?
Probably Keyshawn. It's in the slot.
All right.
And you're seeing here, the offensive lineman is going to take on Quay Walker. Keyshawn's going to try to make a tackle here.
You forced him back inside. That's what you got to do.
And forces him back inside. And guess who's there to help out? If he would have gone with the running back, which is probably what he was supposed to do, or what you'd think he was supposed to do,
right?
He wouldn't be there to help make this tackle, but he's there to help out, get a good smack, get a good lick on the receiver, and make that guy not want to catch another pass all game, right?
That was really well done by Keyshawn. I thought he got beat bad there, and he not only forced the guy back inside, but he also made the tackle. Nice.
So here's an outside running play, and this is actually kind of a cool play by the Browns. I'm going to go back just a little bit here. And on this play, we've got 3 linebackers in the game with Eric Wilson over here on this side, and McDuffie on the other side, and Quay in the middle.
Eric Wilson wins he'd win like the body.
Yeah, he looks like a buff monster.
Yeah, he looks the best with his shirt off. I'll just say that. Sorry.
So what's going to happen on this play over here, you've got Bullard at safety at number 20. He's going to get blocked by 18. 19 receiver here is going to cut block Preston. He's going to shield him off, and you're going to watch the left tackle is going to pull around the outside, and his job is to take out McDuffie, and the fullback is going to be leading all the way through here. Now, maybe the fullback takes on Bullard. I can't remember. But one of these two guys, either the fullback or the wide receiver, is taking on Bullard, and this left tackle is going to pull around, and the wide receiver is going to clip off Preston, which takes him out of the play because the run is going to go all the way to the outside here. So you're talking, there's only two guys here, probably a corner on the outside, but the only two guys, and you got 1, 2, 3 blockers for those two guys. And you're saying, that sounds like a bad news, right? So as you watch the play develop, you see here, the wide receiver clips Preston. Preston gets turned the wrong way, backwards, which means he has no idea where the ball is or anything. That's bad news. Bullard's getting blocked 18 here. Looks like Stokes is coming on the outside. He's the corner over here on the back, on the way to the left of your screen. And you're going to see McDuffie come this way, and 66, the left tackle, is going to get on him. But the coolest part is McDuffie knows if he gets his hands on him, because he's a way taller, longer, and bigger guy, he's screwed. You're going to watch McDuffie do a punch. He's going to punch him off him and immediately break off the block and then cruise over and help get the running back down. So what you're seeing here is a quick punch, so he knows he can't get trapped, because if he gets touched, that guy's long arms, he's screwed. He's going to get trapped, and he's going to be blocked for sure. So watch McDuffie. He's right here. Watch 66. He's going to do a punch off him and then move off and make the tackle. Watch. Here he goes. Punch. Off. Through the hole. Make the tackle. So, and that's one way that McDuffie does a good job of giving off blocks, right? He knows he can't compete with that guy.
Right? If that guy gets his hands on him, he's probably in trouble, right?
Right. He knows it because he doesn't have long enough arms, right? The other guy's got way longer arms. He's got to punch off as soon as he can. He also, did you notice how he got in front of him and kept his body sideways when he did that punch? He punched sideways to keep that guy as far away as he possibly could and not get both hands on his shoulder pads, right?
Now, real quick, before you do anything else.
Yep.
I know you were talking trash about Preston Smith there, but did you see what he did?
No.
He used my famous basketball defensive technique, which was you get a guy and they go one direction on you and you spin. You actually turn your back to him and spin, and then you appear right in front of him again. And that's exactly what he did. So good job, Preston Smith. Very effective.
Okay, well, he didn't make the tackle, so I don't know. But that was great. Okay, now on this play, this is going to be a run up the gut. And what you're going to see is the center eventually is going to be having to block McDuffie, and he's going to get his hands on him. And this is going to be a different shed that you're going to watch McDuffie play. McDuffie's going to hold up against the center. He's going to wait and kind of peek around him a little bit to see which way the running back goes. He's going to shed off the block to the side of the running back and make the tackle. So you've watched him do the quick outside play, get the punch to get off the block. Now you're going to watch him hold the block, have the guy hold him for a second, and then shed and get underneath and make the tackle. And he's lined up basically the same spade as he always is, just above the quarterback. Okay, so now this motion kind of pushes him over a little bit. But all the offensive linemen are going to pull out. So look here, Devontae Wyatt he gets kind of a bad hit here. The guard shoves him all the way over. And now Quay is here, who you think would be able to get a good hit because he's right there. McDuffie's right here, but look at this giant wall of white. But the fullback's going this way, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, the center's got to make a choice here.
So the running back is really dumb. He probably should have went this way. But he's dumb, so that's good. But look what he's got in front of him. He sees Quay in front of him. So his thinking is to cut back across this way.
That's dumb.
And McDuffie knows Quay's there. So watch McDuffie here on 55, the center. Punch, shred, make the tackle.
Come on. So
we just showed you how many plays where the guy is, we showed you being alert and making a play, all hustling over to help stop on contain on the wide receiver. You saw him do a punch off to get off the block quickly so he can make the tackle. You see him absorb the block, wait to see the running back make a move, then shed the block and make a tackle. That's all really good, smart stuff. And you might say, oh, this guy, McDuffie, he's not talented. He's not fast. He's not big. He's not quick. No, but he's just a smart, good, solid player who understands how to get leverage. Now, these are backup players against a stud. That probably won't happen every time. He might get swallowed up. I don't know. But he had a really good game. He was one of the highest rated players from Andy Herman and from PFF. And it shows on the film when you watch it. Like, you don't remember him doing anything too great in the game. Like, you're like, oh, was he everywhere? No, but he was everywhere because he kept his eyes on the ball and he knew what was going on. So I was really impressed with McDuffie. Again, a guy we've been talking about for 2 years. Whenever he's in the game, he seems to always do something well. So I hope he gets a start. I know they drafted 2 guys, but it takes more than just super quick and athleticness to be out there and make plays. You got to be smart and you got to be able to shed blocks and you got to be able to do things based on what the defense needs you to do. And McDuffie's really great at that. Maybe he might be not so good on obvious passing downs. Maybe take him out. But against the run and on first down, second downs, he's really good. He's very good against the run, and he can cover running backs and tight ends out of the backfield fairly good. But yeah, if it's third down and long, take him out. I don't know why you gave it all to me, but hey, okay.
I was trying to adjust my camera because I was so small compared to your big head. So I was trying to do that without being off camera for a little bit.
Who gives a crap?
Well, hey, it's all for the show. It's all for the show. Okay, so yeah, I mean, Mike McCarthy would call him just a football player, man. He's just a football player.
Yeah.
And Jeff Hafley knows the guy, trusts the guy, likes the guy. So who knows? Maybe Goody drafted these other backers, and maybe we're going to see lots of McDuffie this year, and those guys will get sprinkled in a little bit. We'll see how it goes.
Well, I'm hoping that Cooper obviously will eventually be a player, right?
I mean, you hope so.
Whoever. I mean, watching the film, Cooper is aggressive. He like beelines and smacks guys, but he doesn't wrap. He doesn't wrap up.
And he tackle.
Right. He tackles them because he hits them really hard and they fall down, but he doesn't wrap them up. So I don't know if that's going to work in the NFL.
Right.
But he might be really good as just being like a spy. Like when we're playing guys like Jalen Hurts or something like that, or even Caleb Williams, who's moving around pretty good for the Bears in the first preseason game. Maybe have Edgerrin Cooper out there. His whole job is just watch the quarterback, and wherever he goes, go chase him down. It might be a good move for a fast guy. It's a simple assignment. Do your assignment, go get him. But when it comes to being part of the defense and being aware, give me McDuffie all day. He was great last year when he got to play, and he deserves to play.
All right, Cali Packers showed up. He's got lots of stuff in here. Lots of stuff in here. Says, I like this one right here. Look at this. That's how we're doing. It's been a while. You guys make me laugh. You guys always negative, but you know your stuff, right? Go Pack, go.
Well, we're not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be positive, man.
I told him, I said,
McDuffie, I love that guy.
I said we're also trying to be positive at times.
Yeah, we're trying, man.
Then he said he's got a question. Then he said he's got a question.
What do you got?
Now, what are your guys' 6 receivers in order? And do we got 7?
Or do we go 7? He's thinking like 7 on the final.
Oh,
roster.
Right. On the team. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think you would, because you got to have too many other, you got injuries, all these spots. You got to have linebackers, you got to have special teams. Receivers don't help that much, especially on coverage teams. They're not generally good tacklers. So I think you can only go 6. But he says Watson, Dobbs, Reed, Wicks, Melton, Toure. That's why I think I like his order here.
Okay. I don't agree with that order. But
all right,
that's me.
What's your order?
My order is Wicks number 1.
Wicks number 1. Lots of people are on that.
But he's not like heads and shoulders above everybody else. It's just I think he makes the most with the ball in his hands after he catches it.
He's the most
one of these guys.
But he's the most complete too.
I think Romeo's pretty complete.
You think Romeo's pretty?
I think Romeo's actually faster than Wicks and can get downfield and stuff like that. So I like him. But Romeo sometimes
the run after the catch. He's not great after the catch, right?
Right. Where Wicks has got a little shiftiness to him after the catch.
Heck yeah.
So he's really good at like intermediate routes, 20 yards. Now he had that big pass in the preseason game. That's because he had a safety on him. So
get him matched up against the right. Like I said, get him matched up against the right guy. I mean, if people are thinking 13's like our 4th best receiver, go ahead, put your safety on him. We'll take that all day long.
My order is Wicks, Dobbs, Reed, Watson. Then I go with my guy Malik Heath,
Mm.
then Grant DuBose,
Mm.
and then I say we trade Bo Melton.
I think they're
He had
setting him up to trade him. Yeah.
he had a couple good games last year, and I just don't. It's one thing if he was super fast and also like caught everything or something like that, or one or the other. But or he was like 6'3",
Right.
but
He's short.
He's 5'10".
Yeah.
And yeah, he's super fast, but a lot of his catches, even last year, were kind of arm catches. It was Antonio hands. I don't know if he's the greatest receiver out there that in that case. And the only other thing I would say, if you keep Bo, I don't know what because last year, Grant DuBose, they cut him and then signed him to the practice squad. So I think that whatever contract he signed as a 7th round pick was then voided, right? Which means he's on a 1-year deal right now. So I think you could cut Grant DuBose and still get him back on the practice squad this year. So maybe you do that, because I honestly don't think, you're going to see that. Even if we have 7 guys on the roster, right? You're only going to see 4 or 5 on the game day roster, because you can only start 46 dudes, right? Even last year in the playoffs, Malik Heath didn't get to play, because they were worried about hamstrings with Watson, so they kept Melton out there so that they could have him out there to make plays for him if they needed to, if Watson got hurt.
I'm going to give you my order now.
All right, give me your order.
I'm going to say Wicks is number 1 too. Wicks is the best. And I'm going to give it to Dobbs. Then I'm going to go Malik Heath. Then Jaden Reed. And then I'm going to go Grant DuBose, Bo Melton, Samori Toure. You keep 6. Bo is I don't know. Last year, he had a bunch of, maybe what the problem was, some of those balls were too hot. He caught a bunch of Jordan Love's lob balls or balls that just floated up in the air for 10 million years last year, right? Maybe these balls in this game he wasn't quite ready for. Also, Devontae Adams, who has a pretty good track record now of not dropping balls, did have the dropsies for a while in his career. I'll just point that out. So I still believe in my man Bo, but I also understand, at this point, he's pretty low down on the totem pole. But the value, which we saw last year, is you have to plan on Christian Watson probably getting hurt. If Christian Watson is hurt, Bo really took over that speed, stretch the field guy who opened up crap all day long for, Romeo Dobbs underneath and those deep crossers, right? If the speed guy is running deep. So don't underestimate that value. I think the Packers do value that. And I think people see it too. So we'll see how it goes. But I still love my man Bo. I'm going to stick with him. He had a couple of drops, bad drops, no doubt. But we'll see how it goes. Callie Packer is a real Packer fan. We remember him from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was here. He's been here. Yeah,
been here and there, all that stuff. Who's my favorite old lineman from 3 years ago?
He's asking Callie Packer if he knows
you're
that.
Asking him? Oh, just my.
He's legitly he's not our eyes in Green Bay like you are, but he's from Cali. I mean, what are you gonna do?
He's from Cali, and he's a Packer fan out in Cali. Gotta love it. Good job. Good on you.
As long as he's not an Aaron Rodgers fan. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Has anybody heard about the Aaron Rodgers book? Out of the Darkness? Behind the Mystery of Aaron Rodgers, or whatever the hell it's called. There's a new book.
How's that book going to sell?
It's probably going to sell because Aaron Rodgers is crazy. But it's not, I guess it's not endorsed by Aaron Rodgers.
The only reason it'll sell is because it won't sell, and then Rodgers will buy a bunch of copies to make it look good.
But it's not his. It's not I don't think it's.
I know. Some other dude wrote it. I heard the guy talk about it.
Oh, you did?
But he did. Yes. I heard him talk a little bit about it on some show. He wrote it, so it's a biography, right? Sort of. And he talked to a lot of different people close to Rodgers. He did actually talk to Rodgers. Rodgers took a phone call with him on, not for the book, but after the book was written, or I think as he was writing it, to confirm some stuff. And then he got a couple of things from him that way. So it definitely wasn't written with a lot of Rodgers behind it, but there were a lot of things confirmed from Rodgers, and then he threw in a couple of things his whatever. He's only regretting the way he handled certain things because he got so much crap for it. Otherwise, he wouldn't regret it.
Oh, I don't know anything about it. I just heard about it and I thought it was funny.
Out of the darkness.
Out of the Darkness is a great name.
I wonder what he called that before the darkness. That like he must have been working on this book before the darkness stuff.
Maybe
So
I don't know.
So I wonder what he was planning on calling it. And then he's like, "Holy shit! I'll take that right there." The darkness.
I don't
Thank
know,
you.
but it's. I don't think I'll buy it, but I'll try to read it somehow because it's got to be funny. As long as it's not an autobiography written by Rogers or somebody through Rogers, then I don't want to read that. But I'll read somebody who actually did research to find out the information kind of stuff.
Apparently, one of the things, the rift with his parents started because they didn't like Olivia Munn talking so outwardly about their sex life in the public.
That's the whole reason why Aaron Rodgers disowned his family.
Apparently, because his parents didn't like that because they're devout Christians, very conservative Christians, apparently by this book, which I never got that vibe from them. I knew they were Christians, but I didn't think they were they seemed pretty open to stuff all the times they were in front of people. And the other part that let's talk about that. Yes, let's talk about that because that really confused me when that was said. Because we had according to this, the rift started with Olivia Munn and him dating. They wanted her to stay in a different room, in a different bed when they stayed at their house or at a hotel that they were all at. They didn't want Aaron and her staying in the same room and same bed. And Aaron didn't to appreciate that as a 30-something-year-old man, whatever.
Did you read this book or what?
No, I'm just going off of what this guy said and what some other things I read. Some little sprinkles that have come out. But riddle me this, Batman.
That's a little weird.
If that's true,
the guy's 30 years old.
I know, but no. If that's true, and if Olivia Munn openly talking about their sex life, which again, I thought she was paid like all the other actresses to pretend to be his girlfriend.
Whoa, hey, dude.
I'm just saying. Anyway, whatever. But what I'm saying is, if that's true, why didn't they disown Jordan Rogers after being on The Bachelor?
Yeah, I know. Bachelorette.
I'm sorry, Bachelorette. Was he a prude on The Bachelorette, or did he get, was he making out with a chick and probably getting busy and all that stuff as he was going along the journey like they all do? You watched it. Tell me the truth.
That started my love of Bachelor in Paradise because I
watched Jordan Rogers
The Bachelorette because of Jordan Rogers. I watched it because he was doing stuff. I'll tell you that.
So, but his family still took him back, right? They didn't disown him. They didn't cause a big...
I know. I don't know. I don't really care. I think this
riddle me this, Batman.
Has gone very odd to me.
Riddle me this, Batman. So
bottom line is
BS.
Bottom line is this: our quarterback right now is already engaged to be married, and it took our previous quarterback until he was like 39 or whatever to be engaged, and then of course that broke off. So it's a little weird.
Anyway, all right.
But anyways, Callie Packer's trying to get us off that. He wants to get how many wins we're gonna have. Callie Packer, I don't know how many wins we're gonna have. I don't know. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know.
Everybody's still high on the Lions, Ben. But the weird part, look, the Lions. I'm gonna say this. We said it last year, right? The Lions had their chance last year.
They had their chance last year. Mm-hmm.
And your coach blew it. Your coach blew it. Now the Lions are stuck once again. The Packers are winning the division. The Packers are going to go to the Super Bowl.
I don't know what they're going to Super Bowl, but they're definitely winning the division.
They're going to knock the Lions out of the playoffs.
They're knocking the Lions out.
And it's it. And then the Lions are going to topple down, right? Because that's
the Bears are going to jump them.
Yep.
And the Vikings are going to be on the cellar because they got nothing.
You had
They lost their quarterback.
You had your one chance, Lion. And we were, as Packer fans last year, we were giving it to you.
Yep.
We're like, look, we're a new team. We're not going to go. Even when the Packers, if the Packers would play the Lions in the NFC Championship.
Well, then we go to Packers. But
obviously, we're going Packers. But when it was Lions made it, Packers didn't, we're like, do it. This is your year because next year we're coming for you. And sorry, Lions, you're out. But everybody's still, Lions Super Bowl team. I don't think so. You can't trust Dan Campbell. Does dumb stuff. He's an awesome guy, but come on, man. Come on.
Well, Lee's agreeing with Callie Packer, 11 wins. So, hey, that's cool. We'll figure it out. We usually do that right before the season starts. We'll go through all that stuff, our win total, Last year I was dead on.
The
I
other
said
key
nine.
point
I
is
said 9-8. They're going to make the playoffs, win one playoff game. That's what I
You
said
were
last year before the season, and I was right.
the other key point, though, is the Packers have proven over many, 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 many years they should not be a home playoff team. And
No.
I will say it. I've said it over and over, and I get pushed back from Eckes every time I say, "Of course you want the home game," and blah blah. Blah. No, no. Last time the Packers won the Super Bowl, they were a 6 seed. They had to go on the road over and over again. They didn't have to play in frigid Lambeau. Nobody wants to play football when it's that goddamn cold. I'm just saying it. I've said it before. Nobody. I don't care where you are from, who you are. I don't care. Nobody wants to play football when it's that goddamn cold. And if you don't have a team that's built for it, you're screwed. And this Packers team is not necessarily built for it. Do they have a big physical offensive line? No. Yes, they got Josh Jacobs, who's supposed to be physical, but is he going to make it through the season? We don't know.
No.
So we're going to throw the ball. We'll look at all these talented receivers we have. Guess what happens to talented receivers on a sloppy field that's crappy in January in Lambeau? They slip and they fall down and they can't get their footing and all this bad stuff, and it's not the same. So go on the road. Do not get a number 1 seed. You can have one playoff game and probably get by against a not as good team. And after that, let's go to Dallas and whip their ass. Let's go to Philly and whip their ass. Let's go to San Francisco.
No. We got to go to San Francisco. Matt LaFleur needs to beat San Francisco in the playoffs.
He can't do it. He can't.
Well, he needs to do it.
Can't do
to
it.
prove that he's a man. Otherwise, he keeps being freaking Shanahan's little freaking biatch. Because that's what he is. Every time he plays him in the playoffs, he gets his ass kicked.
Callie's giving us the San Francisco scoop. Out on the West Coast, Frisco is getting weaker and older.
Well, a lot of their best players aren't showing up they're not practicing. They're there, but they're not practicing, or other guys aren't showing up because they want more money.
They got an old tackle who wants top dollar.
It's because he watched David Bakhtiari get paid for doing nothing for 3 years. He's like, I'm actually out here playing. Why aren't I making the big bucks?
Lee says Jacobs is built for it, and this isn't the Rodgers offense. Well, it's true, but still, I'm telling you, we've seen it so many times. We've seen it. Jordy Nelson was good in the snow, but he was a farmer. Yeah, he was pretty good at staying on his feet in the snow.
You know, was the best. You know, was the best in the snow.
Yeah,
Dorsey Levens.
Oh, Dorsey Levens. Yeah, well, of course, made some of the best plays in the history of snow games. Yeah. Edgar was good in the mud, but not the snow.
Oh, no. Cali Packer.
Dylan is built for it, he says.
I don't want to be negative, Cali Packer, but you have to do it. What are you doing, man?
Dylan, look, let's give A.J. Dillon credit. Great guy, mayor of Door County, obviously worked hard in his body this offseason, going from previously 8% body fat down to 4% body fat. He looks like a Greek god, right? He's got a kid. Most young dads get a little fat. Most young dads get a little fat on them, right? Because you're sitting around with your kid and you got to do some of that stuff and you don't know when you're going to sleep and all this stuff. AJ Dillon said, no, I'm taking it the other way. I'm getting more tone. He looks amazing. He's a great dude. His feet are too big and he doesn't know how to run behind his pads. And he's just not a physical runner for a guy that's 245 pounds. It's weird. He gets tackled way too easy for a guy that's 245 pounds. He's not shifty. He's not fast. Please tell me his value. He's pretty good at catching the ball. I'll give him that. And I like him. Great guy.
The saddest part is there was a time just 2 years ago. Just 2 years ago. 2 seasons around this time of the year. We were at Packer training camp and I had to decide what jersey I was going to buy. And it was Aaron Jones' last season before the contract extension, I think. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think Jones is going to be back. Maybe it was 3 years ago. I don't remember when it was. And I had a choice between 28 and 29. That was what I was going to buy. Because those were my 3 favorite guys. Aaron Jones, number 1. Rasul Douglas and A.J. Dillon were tied.
You keep it tight. You stay within just a few numbers right there.
Yeah. And if it wasn't for Rasul staying late after practice for a good 15, 20 minutes, helping out that stupid Jean Charles guy who sucked butt, he still stayed out there 15 minutes working with him, trying to make him not suck. And I said, dang it, that is a leader. That is the type of guy I want his jersey. And I bought Rasul Douglas's jersey, and I was so excited because he signed a 3-year contract that summer. Yep. And I was like, he's going to be here for at least 3 years. And then, of course, stupid Goody traded him last year like a dumbass. He kept stupid Jair Alexander, can't play worth the shit. That's the point. But A.J. Dillon I was high on A.J. Dillon. I was excited. I even said A.J. Dillon was going to take over for Aaron Jones that season and have more carries. If you remember, I said that.
Say that.
We had a show where it was you and me and Mo and Nico and Eric, and we were all together at that house in Eau Claire or in Rochester here. And we did a show, and I said A.J. Dillon is going to outgain Aaron Jones this season.
You did say that. And
I was wrong, number one. And number two, Dillon has consistently shown me nothing.
Yeah.
He had one game. He had one play where I watched him run over a D tackle from the 3-yard line to get in the end zone. And it was
AJ Dillon in the snow is pretty decent because everybody else is slowed down.
Yeah.
Everybody else is slowed down and slipping around. And so he's pretty decent in the snow. But in every other conditions,
it's scaring me. It's scaring me. It'd be different if the Packers ran a different offense in the running game. He would be a better player. If they did a double block where you have two offensive linemen take on the tackles and then allow your running back to get into that hole immediately and give him a head of steam. And then the first guy he has to hit is that linebacker at the second level or maybe, coming into the hole. I believe A.J. Dillon would be better. He would have a head of steam going. Things would be great. But Matt LaFleur continues to run this stupid zone crap where everybody just runs to one side and grab one guy, and then they can't block anybody. They allow penetration. They allow guys to just cut right through a hole, and then your running back has to have enough agility and vision to look for the hole and also avoid guys who got through, but then also look out for when their offensive linemen get pushed back because now their place they're supposed to go is not there anymore because their offensive linemen suck and they're getting shoved backwards. And that leaves a guy like A.J. Dillon who doesn't have agility and has big feet and is kind of, chunky, not chunky fat, but chunky big. He's not elusive enough to do that. If he had a running start with a good gap because you double teamed the D tackles and gave him that hold initially, he would look great. But Matt LaFleur doesn't run those plays for him. And that's the problem. And that's why a guy like Aaron Jones or a guy like Emmanuel Wilson, who are able to, avoid the initial guy who gets through the line or able to find the little tiny crease and then get through, they're better with this offense. It's Matt LaFleur's fault. Like, he should have multiple plays, multiple run plays. This would be about the Packers for 5 years. What's he been doing all offseason? You can't come up with a different play. You know who your guys are. You know A.J. Dillon's strengths. And you know that your offensive linemen are not maulers. But if they double team a D tackle together, they will move the line of scrimmage forward, which gives A.J. Dillon already a little bit better of a head start. And all he'll have to do is take on a linebacker in the hole. And maybe he plows over that guy and runs right into him and takes off or breaks tackle or whatever. Give him a little bit of head space and start him out of the I formation instead of out of shotgun next to the quarterback where he can't get any head space steam going, right? He's got to start from scratch, same as a linebacker would. Instead of him getting that head, the headway, give him the ball as he's moving tough and full, give him a nice big hole, and he plows through.
Yeah, as soon as he stops his momentum, it's
over.
Yeah.
And he proved it in this game. And I got some video if you want to show it. Let's do it.
Can't restart. Lee points out, we get the video ready. I'll pull it up. Lee points out just a couple comments here. He's skinny waist and iffy vision, doesn't allow for power and elusiveness. And again, it's more for him. It's the start and stop. He is not good at starting and stopping. He's got to get that thing going. He's got to move it. And then once he's going, he does have a chance to run with some power. And I think he is better in bad conditions. And so that's where the other thing is he signed for veteran minimum, Ben.
I know.
Veteran. He's cheap.
He's an awesome guy.
He's dirt cheap. He's a good leader. He's a good guy in the room. He knows what's going on. Emmanuel Wilson, though, looked pretty good in the first game. Emmanuel Wilson is excited to play the Broncos because they're a team that had him on there first, and they cut him
They
after a
let him
couple of
go.
days. He said he cried. He said he was upset. He said it really hurt, knocked him down, and he was doubting himself, and the Packers gave him a chance. And last year, he scooted by, he flashed some stuff, and then they hit him on the practice squad. But I don't know. Do you keep Dillon or do you keep Wilson? I don't even know. And Marshawn Lloyd, are you going to be healthy enough to show us what you got? Because so far I don't see any of it. They say he looks impressive in practice, but I said it when Aaron Jones went away. They have zero chance. The Packers have no chance of having a run longer than 20 yards this season. And unless Emmanuel Wilson has the ball, that will remain true for all 17 games. Don't expect explosive runs. All right, video is up.
Okay, so this is the first play, 2nd and 1. And what you're going to watch, which is really dumb.
Birthday buddy!
Well, it's not his fault.
I know. He did okay. He didn't look great, but he looked okay.
I want you to take a look here. This is the key position of why this place was bad. If you look here, this defensive lineman for the Browns, all the way to the left of the screen, they're in a wide 9. I mean, this is a short. This is ridiculous. The fact that they couldn't get this play, and you're going to see every. Okay, so you got a gap here.
Look how small those guys are too.
I know.
Like
There's a gap
43,
filled here.
30, 12. They're all freaking small.
Well, every gap is filled with somebody. Just so you know. Actually, yeah, every gap. Okay, so this is not good, but it's wide. So because it's wide, there is some space to work with. The problem is right here. This is who is this announced? I think it's Telford or whatever. Kadeem Telford. He is supposed to block this defensive end, and he's already way to the outside of him, right? Somehow he goes too far out and lets this defensive end get inside position on him. Even though, look at how far this defensive end has to go and get around. It's ridiculous. When you watch this play, that's the number one dumb thing that you can't do anything about if you're A.J. Dillon. Look at it. He pulls. It's like he doesn't even know he's there. You don't want to give your inside shoulder away. You want to keep this guy on your outside shoulder. The other thing is they do the classic, the guard puts a hand to sort of help the center, but not really, and then try to move to the second level. Same thing over here. You've got Royce tries to sort of help, but get off right away to try to get to the second level. These guys aren't fast enough to get the help and then get to the second level. They either need to help and not worry about it, or just start moving to the second level, because they cannot compete with the speed of the linebackers in the NFL today. These guys are big and slow. So Jacob Monk, he's a nice player, and we all know Rice stinks. And of course, 96 is going to beat the crap out of Telford here, gets inside position, even though he was lined up way outside. And you're going to watch Bush come all the way through, super fast. Royce has no chance of getting him, and Dillon's screwed on a 1 yard play.
I know Jacob Monk went to Duke, and I know he's a nice guy, but he's no Lucas Patrick, man.
Well, I mean, he at least is shielding off the running lane. Unlike Kadeem Telford, who got his butt kicked by 96. Bush, who totally outsprinted Royce, which is not a surprise. And then also when you got your, Sean Ryan, who's trying to do okay here against 92, but he is getting pushed back a little bit. And what does A.J. Dillon see? Even if somehow he saw this and was able to juke back to the outside, they had Ben Sims go to number 12 to block, and they left the outside linebacker unblocked. So if for some reason Dillon had to try to get to the backside, he's got a guy right here unblocked to tackle him. This play is dumb on many levels. Ben Sims has no reason to do anything, because all these guys, the receivers, like even this guy is going to the same guy. Both the receiver and the tight end are going to the same guy to block.
What do we need here, Ben? 2 yards?
1 yard.
1 yard.
1.5 yards.
Okay, we've talked about this before on the show. We've talked about this, right? When you need 1 yard, why are you flowing off the ball?
Right, you attack one area of the line, right? You don't go everybody move one side. You double team here and you double team here, and you smack the hole as fast as you can, and that's how you move the ball. It doesn't
Solidify
even
the
matter what
line.
the guys on the outside are doing because you're attacking one area.
Yes, solidify the line of scrimmage with a quick hitter, get it, and then you can leave that outside linebacker unblocked. But when you do a flow, I mean, basically you're saying here, we're trying to go for a big play run
Yeah,
with
on
this
2nd and 1.
blocking scheme on 2nd and 1 because you're sending Ben Sims downfield and you got these guys flowing and trying to pick up the linebackers and all that, except you don't have the right personnel in for a big play run. So what are you doing? Know who's on the field. AJ Dillon, plow ahead, get 2 yards. First down.
Right. So that's what happened on 2nd down. And you're just seeing how, and he's crushed. And even if he's not crushed by 96, Bush is clean. 57 from the outside is clean. He's screwed. There's nothing he can do there. Multiple guys got either beat or just nothing happened, and it was just dumb. There's a million Browns there. Now, the next play I want to show makes me really mad, and I don't blame the blocking. I don't blame AJ Dillon. I blame Matt LaFleur. Let's watch this play. This is 3rd down and like 1 or 2. As you see here, Grant DeBose is moving in motion. When he moves in motion, that takes 12 away over to this side of the field. Okay? And what you're going to have on this side is one guy here, and a slot defender, and a corner 29 who's 5 yards off the ball, 6 yards off the ball, right? And you only need 1 yard. You have to get to, I think it's the 46 or something for the first down. So as the ball is snapped, you're going to see 2 things here as to why this play doesn't work. Okay, first of all, watch on the bottom of your screen. Right here is my guy Malik Heath. You can tell this is a run pass option because he is going backwards and he's looking for the ball. And then here you got Bo Melton getting ready to come and block. Had our quarterback saw that there's only 2 guys here and the guy, one of them is 6 yards off, he should have easily not even faked this ball or even put the ball in the running back's hand. He should have immediately threw it to Malik Heath and it would have been an easy first down. So you blame the quarterback.
Don't move it yet.
What?
Just look at the linebackers.
Well, they're all running straight at the line of scrimmage. Every one of them.
Yeah. Look at them. They're
But
just, boom, let's go.
That's because all the tight ends engage in blocks over here. There's the tight end engages in blocks, and the receiver is running straight this way. They have no worries. Their only worry is the tight end and the running back, and they're all seeing it's a play, and they see the tight end immediately block, so they go straight for it, right? Bottom line is, this play can't work unless the quarterback throws it to Malik Heath, because these guys are all worried about the run, and because it's a play action or a run pass option, the offensive linemen cannot be aggressive and go downfield. They have to kind of sit there and hold their spots instead of actually moving the pocket, right? Or moving the line of scrimmage. If they could attack and move their feet like, the gut does for Denver, our guy, then that would be a little bit different. But because it's a run pass option, they can't move downfield. They can't be aggressive in the blocking screen. They have to worry about some sort of a play on 3rd and 1. You don't call this play on 3rd and 1. This is what they should have called on 2nd and 1, right? Because then if the defense plays off, you can hand the ball off and you're good. But if they don't, you pass it over here. On this play, there's only 2 options. You leave yourself with only 2 options on 3rd down, and that's the problem. Malik Heath's still waiting for the ball. This time, Ben Sims gets beat by a 96, which I'll show you from the other angle, which doesn't help. The other thing that happens is you're going to see Devin Bush fall to his knee, and still A.J. Dillon can't run him over. And it's sad, but it's because A.J. Dillon had to stop his feet, which you're going to see again.
Also, before you move anything, watch this. So in this situation, when you need 1 yard, okay, and you look at the alignment here, okay, if you bring the receiver, because there's 2 receivers split out, that's why this is a terrible call. If you're going to probably run it here, you bring that inside receiver, it could be Malik Heath, and you put him like tight on the left side, just like DeBose is on the right side. And he, with as wide as that defensive end is, he could chip and get at least stop him for a second, right? And then you free up your tackle to go forward and pick up the linebacker who's going to crash
in. But that's not the play call. It's a run pass option.
I know, but I'm saying
You don't even have to do that. You know what you could do? You could take Sean Ryan and Royce and block this D tackle. You could take 26 or Monk and Telford and block this D tackle. And then you know what you do? You take Ben Sims and you run him in motion, and he runs up the gut right here, takes out Bush, and A.J. Dillon falls right behind him, and you got a first down because you attack this one area of the freaking defense. It makes no sense. But instead, what are they doing? A play where your offensive lineman can't be aggressive. Your wide receivers just standing there doing nothing.
Malik Heath, one of your best blockers, is taken out of the play.
But that's the whole thing. Like, it doesn't matter if you got a wide receiver blocking over here. Just attack right here. Just attack where the gap is. Call the play. If for some reason the defensive linemen are lined up in this here gap and this gap, and there's a linebacker here, okay. Then you go double team here, double team here, double team here, double team here. You bring Ben Sims around, boom, you attack there. That's how you get a yard. Not this crap. And you know what? You put A.J. Dillon in the freaking shotgun, and you have your quarterback under center so that A.J. Dillon gets a freaking head of steam and can smack some dudes and run over people. Not this crap when he's in freaking shotgun on 3rd and 1 in the sideways, and he has to wait and get the ball moving sideways. He doesn't have a head start until he gets the ball, and he's got 3 yards to go, and there's a guy in his face because 96 doesn't get blocked by Ben Sims. And it's dumb. There you go. A.J. Dillon has the ball. Guess what? 96 has already beat Ben Sims to the outside. Monk is trying to help with 92, but he's looking at 30 because he's worried he's got to block him because he has to. But he can't move out that far because it could be a pass. So he's got to stay behind the line of scrimmage. You got a double team here with these two guys. But you look what? Guess what? We've got Royce who's looking at 43 because that's the guy he has to worry about instead of worried about double teaming this guy. Where A.J. Dillon maybe could have snuck out this way if Royce got his butt out there in 43, but he can't move because it's a run-pass option. So they have to stay behind the line of scrimmage or else it's a penalty if they're too far downfield.
Right.
So what happens is this. 96 destroys Ben Sims. A.J. Dillon sees it, and he makes 96 miss and cuts back to the outside by stopping and then juking a little bit to the left, right? Our left, his right. So right there, boom. He just made 96 miss. He's juking back to this side. If you look over here, Grant Dubose is getting a block in the back. They're not calling. That's okay.
No, he's trying to get his head out in front. That's actually
he is trying. He's trying, but it's he's trying. At least he's trying. But Bush is unblocked.
Yeah,
because Monk couldn't get to him. So now Bush is going to sneak around, trip over his own guy's feet, and fall to the ground. Right there. But A.J. Dillon has already lost his balance.
Oh, no.
And he has, this should be an easy first down. He should just run over. Look at this guy. The linebacker is on the ground. Just run him over. But he doesn't. He can't. He gets held up by a linebacker, and then there's 3 guys there pushing him back. So this play was bad. Another one where it's bad on 3 or 4 different levels. Dumb play call. You didn't attack one area.
Callie Packer points out, you got to remember, it's practice game. We're not showing the real plays yet, but these are the bread and butter plays, Callie Packer.
This is nothing new, Callie Packer. This is the kind of stuff that Matt LaFleur calls. And now on 4th and 1, it's just a mess. I'll show you from the other angle what happens and why it doesn't work.
There's never a line surge with this team. You're not going to get it.
Well, they're all backup offensive linemen, so it's not like it's something that's going to happen.
The starters ain't going to get no line surge either, dude. You know that. But what's going on with the backup center position? Is it Sean Ryan? Is it Jacob Monk?
I don't know.
What do we know? And actually, should that backup center be the starting center? That's the other question. But anyway, never mind. Go ahead.
Okay. So what happens is...
Do we still need 1 yard?
1 yard.
1 yard. And look, so Jacob Monk is moving laterally. The tackle's backing up.
The right tackle is in a pass protection set.
We're clearly doing a run here. There's no RPO.
What should be happening is 76, 62, and 75 should destroy this D tackle 92. Yes. 76 should be coming off the ball and hitting 30 like it's nobody's business.
Yep, block down. Yep.
Royce should be taking out 40.
Let 96 go because he's on the outside. Who gives a rip?
Your hole is going to be right here.
Yep.
It's going to be right here. You let 96 run around the corner. A.J. Dillon just plow it right there. Because Telford will take out 30. Monk and these 2 guys double team and shove 92 back as far as he can. Mm-hmm. But we don't do that. Monk just does the touch. He does the tag. The classic...
Billy Turner
tag. tag the guy, and then try to get 30. Telford is in a pass protection set, blocking 96 for some unknown reason. And that's why it's a disaster. And 92 does a good job of getting underneath Sean Ryan and beating the crap out of him. And look at Royce getting his ass kicked by this linebacker 40. Yeah. I mean, he is underneath him and holding him up and pushing him up. Royce is pathetic. I mean, he's getting destroyed.
I don't know how he stayed on this team for 4 years.
Ben Sims is holding 43. Terrible blocking by Ben Sims in this game. Awful. Dillard can barely keep on track of 51. 51 is pretty much shedding him right now. And there's nowhere for A.J. Dillon to go. Like, nowhere. Everybody's playing like crap except for Monk sort of beating up on Bush. But it doesn't matter when the whole team is collapsed. And then, of course, Steve Telford thinks it's a first down. So, and I could show you more stuff. We don't need to see it. We know Wilson's good.
All right.
So I'm just trying to say it's not A.J. Dillon's fault all the way. Okay.
Yeah. He's been getting a lot of heat, and he shouldn't get as much.
It's just dumb play calling, and it always has been like that for Matt LaFleur. He always calls. He doesn't have any his short yardage play calling. There is none.
Right.
The only time it works is because Aaron Jones is able to like make a guy move or mix or whatever and find a little tiny crease to get that first down. But it doesn't work with A.J. Dillon. He needs a head of steam. He needs a hole to hit, and he just doesn't get it because Matt LaFleur doesn't call those plays on short yardage.
He needs to not be slowed down or stopped or forced to change direction, right? You need to give him some movement on the line of scrimmage so he can just blast in there and get 1 yard. That's all you needed to do. This has been the situation for the Packers for years. And I don't, regardless of the offensive system you're going to play, okay? Regardless of what, your principles are for your line blocking and all this sort of stuff, whether you're a flow, zone blocking team, or you're a double team kind of power team, or you're a pulling team where you got a lot of guys pulling and moving and doing that stuff, or you mix it up, whatever the situation is. On short yardage, 1 yard, sometimes 2 yards, 2 yards, maybe a little bit long, but 1 yard for sure. 1 to 2 yards or less, you just need to get movement on the line of scrimmage. Shortest distance is straight ahead. Straight ahead. Quarterbacks are not that great at QB sneaks anymore. They, whatever. So give it to a back. That's fine. But give him a chance to run up on the line, push straight ahead. The absolute key is you close down as an offensive line. You close down and you don't let guys inside of you, okay? Guys on the outside, go run around because we're going straight ahead. You're not going to be able to make the play. So you leave those guys on the outside completely unblocked. So that means double team where you can, inside to push, hand off, straight ahead, get the first down. Football can be a very simple game, and they make it complicated and dumb for some reason. I don't understand why coaches can't figure that out. Some coaches know. Some coaches, when they need a yard, that's exactly what they do. But our coach doesn't, apparently. He's like, no, we're a zone team. We're going to have our tackle back up and worry about the outside edge guy. Why? We're running straight ahead for 1 yard.
It's almost like they don't even have a short yardage offense.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they do. He just calls running plays. He's like, this running play work. We'll call a running play to get the yard. No. Every situation should have its own play call. And it's been how many 5 years of Matt LaFleur? He doesn't know how to freaking call a play call on freaking short yardage. He has nothing in his playbook. He has no double team, freaking attack one area. Like, you only need 1 yard. You attack one area. Yeah. Do not worry about anything else. Move forward. Make your guys smack people and move forward for 1 yard. He never calls that.
In the process, if you're making a big mesh there, right? Because you're converging your double teams and stuff like that in the middle. Those linebackers can't get around that.
No, that's the other thing. How many times did we, as Packer fans, when we watch A.J. Dillon or Aaron Jones or whoever get the ball, and then there's a guy who beat our guys in the backfield, that cuts off the lane for our running back to make his run, right? Well, if we get that push on offense to push the D tackle backwards, that cuts the linebacker off from getting to where he needs to get to. That screws them up. So if we double team, that only is good news. But he doesn't do it. He did a couple times. Matter of fact, there's a play against Detroit. I don't know how many years ago when Aaron Jones had that huge 75-yard touchdown at the start of the second half against the Lions in game 2 of whatever season that was. I don't remember exactly what season it was. But Corey Lindsey was still our center, so it was a long-ass time ago. But he had a double team with Lindsey and somebody else, and a double team with somebody else and somebody else, and Aaron Jones took it right between them and took it 75 yards for the touchdown. Because they got pocket pushed, got the linebacker out of position. Aaron Jones juked one guy and ran past the safety and was gone. But when you do this flow crap,
I hate it.
You're just giving everybody a chance to catch up with you. And if one guy misses a block, you have penetration and you're screwed. But when the Packers do it, they got like 5 guys who are getting back penetration or changing the line of scrimmage in their favor, not ours. You need to attack, double team, and make the offensive line or make the line of scrimmage change in our favor. Mm-hmm. Can we start doing that, Matt LaFleur? When are these reporters going to ask him about this stuff and be like, dude, why do you have no short yardage offense? Why is it that every season you guys can't get 1 freaking yard when you need to? It happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to blame it because like, oh, well, Rodgers didn't want to do a quarterback sneak. Okay. Well, now he's not here. And then last year we had the Jordan Love where he tried running to the outside and then he got hit and fumbled on 4th and 1. Remember? Mm. That's another dumb thing. Just run the goddamn ball right up the gut, double team the tackles and move it. I'm not even smart and I know to do that. But Matt LaFleur won't do it. I
don't get it. He talks a lot about play style and they want to be physical and then...
Well, you ain't going to be physical when you're on 3rd and 1, you're calling a run pass option, so your offensive linemen have to stay behind the line of scrimmage or else they get a penalty because they're downfield.
Yeah.
You can't win that way.
Right.
And that's what he called on 3rd down. Because you watched Malik Heath just stand there waiting for the ball, so you know it was a freaking run pass option. And the play before that, he could have had Ben Sims come in motion and help block somebody near the line of scrimmage. He has Ben Sims go out and skip the outside linebacker and go right to the safety where the wide receiver was also going to block that safety. So obviously somebody screwed that up. I'm guessing it was Ben Sims, who had a really bad game. Every one of those plays, Ben Sims blocked like shit, by the way, on those 3 plays. It was bad. Yeah. Wilson 82 had a pretty good game. I watched the game back. He had a pretty good job blocking. I'd almost rather see him in there than Ben Sims in blocking downs. Yeah, but hopefully Tucker Kraft will be back and we'll be in good shape. Tucker Kraft is freaking badass.
Yeah, we need Tucker Kraft. I don't know. We've been calling for it but we've been calling for years. You know, everybody wants to see it. Now, why can't this team be more physical? And then, at least at times, right? At the times you need to be. And I mean, I don't know what it is. You can't tell me all these offensive linemen are just that soft. You're asking, but you're asking them to do things that are not physical. You're asking them to stand up and put their hand out and kind of cover a zone, and it just doesn't work, man.
Well, they bring in these guys like Telford, right?
Yeah,
and Caleb Jones.
Caleb Jones has some good run blocks later in the game.
He did when they were. What was he doing? Just getting off the ball, and smacking a dude, not trying to like flow with the offense and all this other bull crap. He just got on a guy and beat the snot out of him.
Right.
That's what they need to do. Yeah. But they either have smaller athletic guys who are supposed to be able to move, like Royce, who's supposed to be like they can't keep up with these linebackers nowadays.
Royce.
I mean, Devin Bush, he didn't have a good career with the Steelers, but he's still around, and he's a 225-pound linebacker who's fast and can get it to the hole.
There he is. He's up in the corner now.
Is that Royce?
Yeah, Royce.
So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. And these guys, they get these big, huge, fat guys, not fat, but like big, huge monster, like giants, like Yash and and Caleb Williams and Kadeem Telford. And they sit there on the bench doing nothing for 3 years. And then when you put them in the game, and you're like, they didn't do anything. What was the point of having them and keeping them on the roster for 3 years for them to learn something when they're just these big athletic monsters, right? Except none of them know how to play football. I don't care if you're a big giant monster if you don't know how to play football. It's dumb.
It's important to know how to play football.
Then you got guys like, your guy, Lukey Patrick, who's an overweight white dude who looks like he can't do nothing, and he's out there freaking busting his butt, blocking till the whistle, helping guys when they get beat.
Starting on the Saints offensive line this
Oh,
year.
is he?
Right
He's
now.
with the Saints this year?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Signed for $1.2 million. I'm guessing that's like probably close to
minimum. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, close to better million minimum 1-year contract.
We could have had him back. We could have used him.
But right now he's starting on the Saints offensive line.
He should be starting.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't want to complain anymore. Let's talk about something positive.
Let's do this. We're going to finish with this. We got to get your silent but deadly player of the game. I think I got it right here. Let's hear it.
And now it's time for the Hafen Bros silent but deadly player of the week.
All right, Ben. Who is your silent but deadly?
And now it's time.
Hold on.
You're doing it twice.
Sorry, it was on the loop.
I really didn't watch the whole game. I only watched like a little bit of it.
That's all right.
But I think my silent but deadly guy is going to be I kind of, even though I showed him in this video, it looked like he was a little rough. It kind of might be Sean Ryan. Because there's a couple plays. I know there's one Emmanuel Wilson play I remember where Sean Ryan snapped the ball and he pulled. It was kind of close to the end zone. And then Wilson is like following him, like just, he's not even running. He's just like following Sean Ryan with his hand on his back and just like being real smart. And he's like, hey, you're 350 pounds. I'm just going to follow you right through the hole. You got like 15 yards because he just stayed right behind Sean Ryan the whole time. And I don't remember Sean Ryan doing too much dumb stuff in this game. He seemed like he did pretty good job at center. He got off the ball quick. He didn't get beat too badly. So I'm going to say Sean Ryan in this game. I thought he did pretty decent.
Sean Ryan. Congratulations. For me, I don't know. I've been a little torn on this. I was thinking of going like to some of the guys who played late. I was thinking of going to maybe some of the starter guys who played briefly. But I'm going to give it to, in this case, I know he was a little not that silent, but he was kind of silent because it wasn't like he was making crazy plays left and right. But a guy that snuck up on us and took advantage of his opportunities and maybe now has jumped in front of Bo Melton, and that's Grant DuBose. Grant DuBose, a guy we knew he looked like James Stark's younger brother last year, but we did not know. We did not know that he could play football because he got hurt right away. But here he is, Grant DuBose. Congratulations.
I don't think he was silent, but
I think he was silent enough. You said how he didn't make any big plays after the catch. He just caught balls
but
on the sidelines.
5 catches. He had 5 catches for 60 yards or something.
Yeah, he's a quiet guy. Emmanuel Wilson, I don't know. What do you?
He wasn't. He had a whole bunch of yards. You got
only because Bo Melton was blocking his ass off for him down.
Guys, you don't recognize. That's
you see Bo Melton blocking his ass off. He couldn't catch a pass, but he was blocking.
If you would have said Wilson, the tight end, that's a silent but deadly.
What did you think about
Robert Rochelle? He was a silent but deadly. He seemed to be playing pretty good out there.
What did you think about Evan Williams?
Well, Evan Williams was not silent. He was out there making plays all over the
place. Number 33.
I don't like it. I don't like it. He looks weird.
Lives, though.
But right, it seems to me like 33 is always a good football player. Except for William Henderson when he had it.
Right.
But he took it when he shouldn't have. He was 30.
In
and
our
Doug
lifetime.
Evans left, and then for some reason they let him switch to 33, even though he was 30 for his first couple years at the Pack.
In our lifetime, name some. Give it to us.
Well, Doug Evans.
Yep.
Micah Hyde.
Personal friend.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. Not a personal friend of the show, but we wish he was.
Now Evans. These guys are all awesome 33s.
33.
There's only one stinky one, William Henderson.
God dang it. Where there have been some bad 21s. Charles Woodson was a great 21.
Charles Woodson was, dude, there's some highlight. I watched the highlight thing of Charles Woodson again. He was just nuts.
Clay Matthews, too.
He was jumping over offensive linemen to like make a tackle. I was like, what are you doing? He just like skied over dudes to make a tackle. I'm like, what the hell, man? He's crazy.
Yeah.
And Clay was nuts. Yeah. Clay, when you watch those highlights of Clay and Charles Woodson, it makes Rashawn Gary look like a chump compared to Clay Matthews.
Yeah.
Clay Matthews was nuts.
Yep.
And it makes Jair look like a punk ass bitch compared to frickin' Charles Woodson. Jair has no business being thought of as a top corner.
No. We have
way.
We got. I'm gonna do a comparison. That's my deep dive. Is we're gonna take a look at 3 Packer cornerbacks, and we're gonna show you some. And 2 of them are considered to be great, and 1 was not. And we'll look at the stats and look at what they did. But anywho, that's coming for an upcoming show. While we're still waiting for the season to start.
Well, Doug Evans was a
33 is a great number to have. Yeah,
he sucked in zone defense, but man,
Right.
when he played man defense, he shut your ass down. No receivers got balls on him. I remember Michael Irvin punching him in a game one time because he had no catches because Doug Evans was all over his ass, and Michael Irvin was pissed, and Doug was like, "F you, buddy." That's how good Doug Evans was.
Physical, strong, long arms, right?
And then he went and got signed by the Panthers, and Dom Capers made him play some stupid zone, and Doug sucked.
Yeah,
And
dumb.
Evans sucks. And it's like, no, Doug doesn't suck. He just sucks in zone. They can play man. He's the man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Who's
He's
still the man?
not supposed to be in a 3-4 zone. He's supposed to be in a 4-3 man.
Who's the best cornerback at playing both? Maybe not in history, but like that the Packers have had in recent years.
Tramon Williams.
It's probably Rasul, man.
No, Rasul is better in zone than he was in man. He's too slow.
Too slow. All right.
Yeah, he'd sometimes
He's-
get beaten, man. Now,
Not
he's the
as
best
good.
tackler.
Oh, goddamn. 85 tackles
Best tackler.
last year with the Packers.
He wasn't with the Packers last year. He was only
No, I
half the
mean
year.
his last year with the Packers, or his last full season with the Packers.
Don't get me
85.
started on Rasul Douglas. We all know I love him. I got his jersey downstairs, and
He's great.
It makes me sad.
He's still great. I don't know what
I got a hot take.
a hot ticket. Let's go.
How come
Before we
Evan
go.
Williams is making plays all over the place? But
Making
the guy that we
plays.
gave $1 gazillion a year to, the new 29, was nowhere to be seen out there. He was out there. He didn't make any plays. What was he doing? Evan Williams was around the ball all the game.
Tackles, doing all the stuff. I mean,
Where was their big free agent signing? Now, maybe they took him out after the first drive. They probably did. But when he was in there, I don't remember doing him jack squat.
Evan Williams, like, I don't know how the Packers stumbled upon him for a 4th round pick. But the guy looks like, I mean, he tackles.
I'm telling
He's
you,
aware. It's
when they took him in the 4th round, there were a lot of people saying that was too high.
seriously.
Yes.
Just because he's not blazing fast. I don't give a shit. The guy makes tackles, reads, knows what's going on. Like, put him on the field.
The majority of those shows, because I watched a lot of them, and they were saying, "Oh, this is a bad pick," and "Oh, he's not that good," and blah blah blah. But then there was 1 or 2 who were like, "Listen, we know that whatever, I can't remember what team he went to, a different team his senior year, right? He was on some other team, and then last year he was on the team he was on for the first time, or something like that, or maybe he was there for 2 years.
Right?
Yeah, he was a transfer to Oregon from someplace else.
All right.
But they said that he was awesome. They loved him there. Like, he knew everything. He was a great leader. He made plays. He was like everywhere.
Good tackler.
Yeah. Just because he's not fast, who gives a rat's ass? The other thing is when he talks, I understand what he says.
Yeah, he's smart.
Unfortunately, Bullard, I can't understand half the crap that guy says. He talks a lot, but he's got some, vernacular. It's different than mine.
Check
For
us out.
Evan Williams is definitely a boring, nerdy sounding guy, which I like.
But he's got the 33. He's got the tradition of 33 going. Kelly Packer says, was at the Arizona game in that end zone when Douglas picked it and sealed the game.
Rasul Douglas saved 3 games for us that year. Rasul Douglas
Makes plays.
I showed last time we had the show. I showed Rasul Douglas.
Yep.
He is outperforming his $7 million contract. He's playing at a $14 million contract range. And Jair, who makes 20-something million, is playing at a $500,000 range. lower than Royce Newman. And then there's me, who's definitely not overpaid, as it says right underneath my name right there, because I haven't changed it since last week. That was a great show. Everybody liked our graphs. It wasn't my graph. It was the graphs from that channel that website. I can't remember what the hell it was
Yeah,
called.
they
now.
liked your Timu ads too with the racy.
I don't know what that was. I don't know. That's that other thing.
That just shows your buying habits.
I don't buy anything. You know that. I buy nothing.
Don't buy stuff off of Temu, Dad, or Facebook. No more pants from Facebook that don't fit.
Yeah, no, it didn't fit me either.
They barely fit me. They're too long.
But they're extra larges. Those are the smallest extra larges I've ever seen.
That's because they're made in China. They're made for Chinese extra large people, which are apparently taller than me, but not fatter than me.
That don't sound right. I'm pretty sure Yao Ming was from China.
Lee likes it. Says Evan is hungry. His size was the issue. He's a little smaller, but he's a good tackler. He's a good solid tackler. I don't care how tall he is or how much he weighs.
He's got to figure out how to keep his helmet on, though, because that could have been really bad.
He's a football player.
You got a guy's butthole right in his face. That ain't fun.
Hey, Malik Keith doesn't keep. Last thing before we go.
Oh, my God.
Why are there so many Packer receivers? So many Packer receivers that have the pacifier mouthpiece, and it just flops around on their face mask all the time. Why? And isn't that distracting when you're running to have the thing flopping in front of your face? Like, what the hell is that? Somebody explain it to me.
Maybe it's distracting to the defense.
I would think it's distracting to them.
I don't know.
It's bouncing. Like, your eyes are right here. That thing's bouncing in front of your eyes, and you're a pass catcher. I
don't know.
Who authorized that? I think it's dumb. If you're going to have a pacifier, be like Michael Irvin and put it in your mouth. I don't care that you're a 20, 30-year-old man. Remember, Michael Irvin was one of the first pacifier guys.
Well, he needed it. He was a big baby.
I know.
Actually, when Doug Evans was kicking his ass.
All right, that's it for us tonight. You guys be good. Stay good. Packers play on a weird Sunday this week. And then next week, a Saturday.
We're not going to see any starters anymore. It's done.
And then
they're not going to play any starters.
Off to Brazil.
That's going to be cool, though.
It's going to be wild.
Too bad I can't watch it because it's only going to be on like Peacock or some bullshit crap. I mean, it'll probably play locally in Green Bay, but it ain't going to play. I won't be able to see that crap.
Did you hear that? That's where Aaron Rodgers took his vacation. He skipped Jets camp because
it was in Egypt.
Well, I thought it was because he knew he couldn't go to Brazil with the Packers, so he just went there himself.
No, he went to Egypt
on a private jet.
You gotta get that book. You gotta get that book, dude. Out of the Darkness: The Mystery of Aaron Rodgers.
I already got it all, except it doesn't make sense to me. Jordan Rodgers not disowned by his parents, getting it on national TV. That's more public than Olivia Munn.
I'll say this:
friends.
Bachelor in Paradise, the dumbest show of all time, but I watch it every time. I love it. I love watching dumb girls be like, meet a guy, and then 2 seconds later, I'm in love, and just are so dumb. These girls are so dumb. And that's why I was to watch it with my daughter. I'd be like, do not be dumb like this. See this guy? Look what he's doing. And then they have an interview like he's using these people. Like, look at this crap. I watched that show with my daughter, so she learns. You should be watching it with your daughter, Jace. Bachelor in Paradise.
No, not watching that. But Sophia, actually, my daughter had her first date last weekend.
You better have her watching freaking Bachelor in Paradise before it's too late. I'm just
I don't think we're doing that. All right. Enjoy the Packers. Enjoy the weekend. Be good, everybody. Take care of yourselves. All right. We'll catch you next time for another Pooh Show because it's officially back. Ben has brought it back.
I don't
Thanks,
care.
Ben, for bringing back the Pooh Show outro. Mr. Happy, you got to find